Okay, everyone, wrapping up race 2 of the Hy-Vee Milwaukee Mile 250s here at the Milwaukee Mile. Gather my thoughts here. Oh, hi. Scott McLaughlin will join us. Scott Dixon will also join us, but I know Colton's got a flight to catch, and we'll go ahead and honor the fact he's got another podium driving the number 26 Gamebridge Honda for Andretti Global with Kerr Agajanian, 5th podium of the season, 17th of his career, led 43 laps this afternoon. You might want to go back and watch that one. It was a wild race. Your thoughts from your perspective?
Yeah, I have a lot of stuff all over.
Did it? You smell like champagne.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good thing. Yes.
And cream
good
puff.
problem to have. No, I think it was, from my perspective, it was interesting. A lot of different lanes opened up, just like yesterday. Traffic was tough to get around, and so it gave opportunities if you were passing for position for the guy in front of you or behind you. And the restarts were a lot of fun also.
Again, there were a lot of passes in yesterday's race, 667, I think it was. Today, 763, so eclipsing even the mark from yesterday. Just your thoughts on, there was always some questions about how racy the mile would be, and it turns out to be a pretty good show.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think it was tough to get the balance right, and I think that's why you saw so many passes. Is when you had that turbulent air, it really upset the cars, and so it was tough to choose the right line through the corners and not get hurt by that. So it was a lot of fun to race in for both the races.
Okay, we'll open up for questions for Colton. We'll start here in person. Nate Ryan.
You had a couple of really fierce battles with both McLaughlin and Dixon side by side through the turns. Can you kind of walk us through that? And are those two drivers that you kind of trust more than you would trust others to have that with?
Who was the other guy?
I think it was Dixon and McLaughlin.
I battled with both of them. I think I got a lot of respect for them, and they haven't done anything bad to me in the 5 years that I've been here. So that's probably the reason why I could hang out on the outside there and not worry about it. But it was, there was a little bit of touching, but it was fine. There was no problems with it. I knew he was probably going to get around me at some point. I was just kind of hanging on there with the older tires. But I wanted to make it as difficult as possible, and I think I did that. But eventually he got me. Yeah.
Was the outside more effective? Was the question.
Yes and no. It depends on car balance and how your car is. I would say yesterday the inside worked a lot better than it did today, but the outside I don't think really changed much. So no, I think it depended on your balance and depending on that, you could run in different areas upon the track, and some guys couldn't run in other areas, so it kind of locked them into 1 or 2 lanes, and other guys could run the whole 3, 4 lanes. So it was an interesting race. Lane choice was super important going into the corner, and that kind of decided your fate on if you're going to pass or get past.
More questions for Colton? Yep, perfect. Thank you.
Hi, Colton. Congratulations. Barring the fact that, you had a bad pit stop yesterday, which race did you prefer, the evening one or the afternoon one?
The one that I finished on the podium.
What were the conditions better today than yesterday? Or
I don't think it changed too much. It definitely didn't change the racing at all, I don't believe.
Okay.
Bruce Martin. Bruce, other side. There you go.
Colton, the fact that you're finishing the season pretty good on a strong note, how important is that to you?
Yeah, I mean, you want to do good the whole time. So, it's nice when you can finish strong and have good results. You just got to keep it going. Obviously, we're out at the championship hunt now, but if we could get a win or another podium in Nashville, it would be really good for myself and for all the guys going into the off season.
And also with the race being near your hometown, at least.
Yes.
Does that help any? Or are you still just going to be staying out at the bus out in Lebanon?
No, yeah, I was thinking about it. I'm going to stay in the bus just because I think it'd be weird. I've never in my life stayed at my house before a race, and I don't know. Could have no effect, but I don't want to find out.
Or you could get stuck in traffic.
But you could do that too. Yeah.
Any other questions for Colton before we cut him loose? Jenna, right to your right. Thanks.
Still on the Nashville, theme. I talked to Scott Borchetta today, and he said you've been a really big supporter of the event. You've been doing things in the community. What does it feel like? It's not downtown, which people really like, but do you feel like people are aware that there's a race and are excited for it?
I hope so. A lot of talk about billboards. There were billboards.
There's a
There
lot
have
of-
been
I heard
billboards the
there's
last
a
few
lot of
months.
Billboards. Yeah.
Yes, there are billboards.
Paddle might even be on one.
No, I haven't seen him on one, so, but maybe that's just the few in Mexico. But it was. I think they've done they do a really good job at promoting. They do a really good job at pulling money together and putting it in the right areas. They're committed to open wheel racing and IndyCar as a whole. You know, I think that's kind of what they grew up on. They grew up going to the Indianapolis 500 and they love IndyCar racing. So all the drivers have known them for a long time. They've been around the paddock for a long time. I've known them through my dad for a long time. So I love what they're doing. You know, it's hard to say I wasn't a little upset at losing the downtown race because it was really fun. And more importantly, our cars were really good there. But this is a new challenge. It's exciting. You know, I'm not sure how it's going to race. I hope it races well. But yeah, as far as promotion, I'm not too worried about that. But we'll just have to see if people are interested in driving out there to a racetrack.
Any other follow-ups, Colton? All right, we'll see you in Nashville or Lebanon in a couple of weeks. Thanks, Colton. Another podium finish for Colton. Turn our attention to our second place finishing driver in Scott Dixon, driving the number 9 PNC Bank, Chip Ganassi Racing Honda. First runner-up finish of the season, 5th podium of 2024, 142nd podium of his career, breaks the tie for most all time with Mario Andretti, 211 top 5, which is, of course, extends his record for most all time as well. It was a heck of a race. What was it like from your perspective?
Yeah, it was. You know, I think on many fronts, you know, I hope, you know, the fans enjoyed it. It was pretty wild. I think there was never a lap that, you know, you were kind of relaxing. It was just flat out the whole time. And especially the strategy shift, I think at the end with Colton, obviously we got a bit of a reset with that last caution, but what a wild day, you know, with, you know, Alex's issue, then Power, you know, having his issue. It was, you know, definitely made for TV. So, yeah, for us, it was a bit up and down throughout. You know, we made, I think we changed everything but the kitchen sink last night after yesterday's car, and it was definitely very positive. So it was nice to have a good car today, and obviously moved up when we needed to, and you know, had a good restart on that last one there. So congrats to McLaughlin, and I know it's not the first time of a Kiwi one too, but it's always a lot of fun to have another New Zealander up there.
For sure. All right, open up questions for Scott Dixon. Pat, go ahead, Jenny, you've got the mic.
Sorry.
Then we'll go
I
Pat.
wanted to stay on that Nashville theme. I actually have 2 questions. The first one's on Nashville. Colton said he doesn't know how it's going to race. You probably do. Are you going to win a 4th straight?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Done?
yeah.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
get a trophy now.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So are you excited to go there, to go back there?
I am, you know, and you can't thank, I think, Scott Borchetta enough. You know, I think the amount of effort that he's cleaned up for one, and then, you know, obviously got handed not a great situation. So, you know, I know they've been promoting the heck out of it. He's a hell of a person and huge partner for our sport. So, you know, I think all of us want this to go extremely well. Whether it's just a couple of years or whether it's going to become the primary situation, you know, we have to wait and see. Everybody loves the Nashville down street race. You know, the race itself was interesting, I thought, and would have been a great spot for a last you know, championship race just because of the unknowns. But and the atmosphere is what, you know, we need for the sport. So Nashville, you know, finishing on an oval, I think is always good. You know, I think the highs and lows, as we saw today, can come pretty quick and pretty heavy. So I just hope it's well attended and we can keep building on it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to Nashville.
And then today related, I'm assuming you don't know what was wrong with the 10.
No, I actually asked twice because I was, you know, kind of trying to make sure we weren't doing the same thing and making sure there wasn't the same problem that I had at Mid-Ohio.
And it was not?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you
They
don't?
just said we've asked for information and we haven't got any.
They said on the broadcast a battery needed to be replaced, a 12 volt.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but the DC to DC on the hybrid could kill that as well. So it's there's a lot more you know, parts now. So it could be any kind of issue. Ours was similar to that. The hybrid can get into a funny kind of mode which will just kill the car, which, you know, is kind of the last thing it should do because it's the only thing that can charge the actual battery is that. But there could be something totally different. I think they've worked a lot of the kinks out from my problem. Yeah, just sad to see. You know, I think Alex would have had a great race. I think he probably would have had it sewn up. But Power made it pretty exciting too there now.
What is that like as a driver to just be in a disabled car and watching your championship points slip by as nobody can figure out what's going on?
Yeah, it's frustrating. I think when it's, you know, introduced, you know, something out of your control, you know, is always tough. And you know, kudos to INDYCAR and everybody that had done so much testing, you know, because I think there would have been a whole lot of other things that could have been a problem. Whether it was that or not, I'm not sure. But yeah, it sucks. You know, I had at Mid-Ohio, didn't even same situation where I think he at least did a 1 parade lap or 2 parade laps. I'm not sure, but so he might have done 1 lap more than me. But yeah, in that situation, watching, you know, with maybe 2 races to go, how quickly it could change. You know, luckily the other car had an issue as well.
Let's go Patrick, then Marshall, then Bruce. Go ahead, Patrick.
Let me start by asking to sort of to follow up on that. You're in the car asking about his, but are you following the championship thing as you're trying to run your own race? You know, you kind of
when I saw that, I was, you know, you're feeling for the team because you know how hard every single person works on it, and you know, what could have been sewn up. You know, very few times I think. Well, Alex had it last year, but very few times do you get to go to the last race and it's all over. You know, which would make the feeling pretty nice for the whole team. So, you know, you feel for Alex, but you also feel for the whole crew, not just the 10, but all the cars that work extremely hard, you know, together. And then, you know, I didn't even know what had happened on that caution, but with the you know, the big screens around here, you could kind of see, and it was focused on the 12. So I don't know how it happened or what was broken on the car, but yeah.
Okay. And then just a racing question about, you said you had to throw the kitchen sink at it. You weren't that far off yesterday, or were you that bad to have to make a bunch of changes to get a little bit better?
Yeah, it was more the drivability. The car wasn't really nice to drive. You know, I think from a race to race, you'd maybe do, well, I don't think you'd even do the amount of setup changes we did at a test, you know, not all at once. You know, yesterday, had we stayed out a half lap later, I think we would have restarted third. So, you know, it's just how you catch those cautions. I think Daly was 2 or 3 spots behind me at that point. So it can flip like that. But, you know, that's how it rolls throughout the season, and some work for you and some don't. But yeah, it was more of a, you know, yesterday was full on, man. It was, that was a long 250 laps.
And today was a short one?
It was a little easier, that's for sure.
Marshall.
Dix, you've done a lot of Milwaukee's. Give us your thoughts. Doubleheader here, coming back after a long time. I think a pretty decent crowd. Give me some thoughts on what it was like coming back and what you saw over a couple of days.
Yeah, you know, I think I love a challenge, and this weekend was a challenge on many fronts. Just, you know, qualifying was a mess, you know, practice, it was just full of highs and lows, but I think that kind of sums up Milwaukee. You know, that's what you have in the race. You know, you kind of have these peaks and everything's going well, and then, you know, you might run on top of somebody or get high, and then, you know, they all stream by, and you know, you're kind of in the crap again. So it's fun. I love it just because it is so difficult. Honestly, the crowds were a lot better than I thought they were going to be coming back, especially for a double header. It's hard to do that. So I think next year, obviously for a one-day event, will be fantastic. And it's always hard when it's a new date and you're, you know, coming back for a time. So congratulations to INDYCAR and everybody that you know, made what the 2-day event was. Double headers are hard to pull off.
Bruce.
You ran the fastest laps of the race as you were trying to reel in Scott there toward the end. But at what point did you realize he's just a little too far for me to catch?
Yeah, I need to look. I think I ran faster than I did in qualifying. Yeah, God, maybe. Yeah, I need to get that around the other way. It's yeah, I think if we'd had maybe another 10 to 20 laps, it might have been slightly different. But you know, it is what it is. So. He drove a fantastic race. You know, there was kind of the one stint where he got me, and then the 14, and also maybe one other that kind of got in front. I think it was, no, the 7 was already hit, but just got into a traffic sequence where I couldn't really run on the bottom. I couldn't understand why everybody else could. And as soon as I did, I would just have loads of understeer and couldn't get it together. So he did a hell of a job, and you know, to take the lead, obviously for that last restart, you know, puts you in a great position. Had there been another restart, could have been maybe a little bit different.
And also the podium record. Scott Dixon had claims yet another IndyCar record.
Yeah, it's cool. You know, obviously, you know, Mario, I'm a massive fan of Mario, and you know, he's a huge part of our series, and you know, it's again, I keep saying it, but it's so cool that, you know, him and AJ and many others, whether it's Rick, come to a lot of our races, you know. So it's obviously Mario raced in a lot of different categories as well, and achieved, you know, many great things. But just to be mentioned with any of those guys is very special.
Got time for a couple more, Nate, and then we'll go to the fourth row back there. Go ahead, Nate.
The final restart obviously was great for you. I think you got around Rossi and then Herta. Can you just walk us through that? And Colton was saying that you guys actually had touched, and it was a really fierce battle through the corners. I mean, is he a guy, like, it seems like you guys can trust each other maybe more than you would other drivers?
Yeah, I think we've had, you know, we don't have battles all the time, but when we have had, it's you know, it's been fair. You know, some guys you obviously know that, you know, it's probably not going to go that way. There was definitely some extremely aggressive moves out there, and if you didn't get out of the way, you were going to be in the fence today. And it was definitely, you know, probably just 2 or 3 cars, but it's what people want to see too, you know. But I think longevity wise, it's only going to work for so long. But yeah, it's always been good for me and you know, Herta. So yeah, a lot of respect there and no issues.
Time for one more. Go ahead.
Hey, Scott,
Go.
Andrew Wagner, Forbes Sports. You kind of touched on earlier. I think everyone was kind of surprised with the strong turnout, but having done a number of races here, did you notice anything that might be different compared to years past that gives you reason to think this is going to be a successful event moving forward?
Yeah, the only time I got to see the infield was, you know, doing the autograph session, and the activation was great in there. You know, I think previous years we've gone back there and, you know, all the, you know, whether it's food stalls or bars have been closed, you know, so to have that and the bands and local entertainment, I think is huge. I think the hard fill for most ovals, right, is, you know, unless Indy Next is here, what race is on the track? And that's the hard part, you know, whether it was Texas in the past, you know, you want people to come here and be entertained, you know, not just for our race, which is obviously the marquee point, but you've got to fill a lot of time as well. So I know that's always been a discussion that I've had in off-season chats just about, you know, how you do that. And, you know, I know that I think changed a lot of things, especially on that side of the grandstands for this year.
Okay, we got time for one more, Jenna.
Just one last one. When the field finally went green, and Joseph was involved in that accident, the LED light was green, but the flagman was waving a yellow flag. What did you see? When so the race didn't go green at first, as you recall. Went green at lap 6.
Yeah.
Joseph didn't go. Thought it had been called off. Flagman is clearly waving a yellow flag, but the green lights are on.
Oh.
Stack up behind
Yeah,
it.
I'm not sure that's accurate. Actually, we've got some
We have
video.
photos.
We have video,
Okay.
so we'll
Bring it.
be sure to
Just get the fact.
unless you saw something from the cockpit.
See something different?
I don't know. Somebody that messed it up. No, I don't know.
That's
I think I can't recall that.
Okay.
I don't.
Joseph definitely went.
He okay.
That's what I thought. You're like, I mean, I was beside him.
He what did he say? He said somebody didn't get the message that it had been waved off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's just a Penske start, you know. It's typical.
Hey, I was all right, lady.
Joking.
It's that new Joseph Newgarden restart zone.
Thanks, Scott. Congratulations. All right,
He's
Scott
too
McLaughlin.
He can say that shit.
Scott McLaughlin, who led 85 of the 250 laps today, driving the number 3 Gallagher Team Penske Chevrolet with his 3rd win of the season, 2nd on an oval, 7th podium of the season, 19th of his career, and still mathematically alive for the 2024 IndyCar Series Championship. Chevrolet, by the way, clinches the manufacturer championship as well. So a big day. Just your thoughts on another win here in 2024.
It was awesome. I mean, the car was a lot better today than it was yesterday, and I was able to do what I wanted in traffic in some ways, kind of what Pato was able to do yesterday. And that's big props to Benny and the crew. The Gallagher Chevy was just unreal, but yeah, once I got confidence with the car, the first stint was quite tough for me, but once I got the confidence in the car and where I wanted to run the car, I thought the track was really cool. You know, even the way that, you know, racing Herta there, he's a little bit older tires than I was and whatnot. And you could sort of enter at the same point and he would go low and I'd go high and you sort of end up in the same spot. And that's why you could have really good side-by-side racing, I thought. I mean, it's always fun when you're leading, but it was a fun, I thought it was a really fun race. It was a lot funner for me than yesterday. Good Lord. So, yeah, really proud of everyone.
Nicely done.
Proud of the turnaround because we were really bad yesterday on my side.
Questions in person. Bruce, you got your hand up. Lucille, come to you.
Another oval win, as we talked a couple of weeks ago at the shop. How
Definitely an IndyCar driver now.
Yeah, how you're becoming an oval driver.
Yeah.
But just how proud are you of being able to master this unique skill in racing?
Look, I wouldn't say that it's like for me, like I think winning on an oval is like not saying road and street courses isn't satisfying because I'll never forget my first race win and whatnot, but like it's incredible winning on an oval. It's like a lot of things have to go right. You have to make the right moves at the right time. And that's why I just imagine, you know, that's probably why I put an Indy above a championship in some ways, because it's just incredible how perfect it has to go on an oval. And yeah, it's the backbone of our sport. I thought it was great. The crowd was awesome. Yeah, it was an awesome weekend. And honestly, I thought the racing was a lot better than we all expected as well. So yeah, and that's props to IndyCar. That's props to Firestone. Yeah, the drivers as well. I mean, there was a couple of incidents, but we were mostly pretty good.
Speaking of incidents, one of them was to your teammate Will Power. That could have been a really huge day for him. And then he ends up spinning. And just how shocked were you by seeing that? Because he could have been leaving here, if not the points leader, only down a couple.
Yeah, I mean, you've all got to make your own decisions, and I felt like I made it, you know, reasonably. I knew his position. Obviously, when Palou didn't start the race, it was like, okay, well, things shifted to Will in terms of trying to get him back, and that's sort of why I made it a little bit easier in that first stint. Way you go. But yeah, man, it sucks. Look, he's still in the chance, but he probably could have capitalized a lot. But yeah, I don't really know what happened, so I can't comment on it. I just know he spun, and I was surprised for sure.
Lucille, go ahead.
Hi, Scott.
Hello.
Congratulations.
Thank
on
you.
the win.
Thanks.
Barring not counting how you did yesterday, last night, or today, which race did you prefer, the evening one or the afternoon?
No, honestly, I know I won, but I liked this race. Yesterday was extremely hard, and I don't know what other drivers thought or said or whatever, but I could not see into 3 and 4. The glare from the sun was incredible, especially when the windscreen got really dirty and stuff. So that was a big issue for me. And it probably made the raceability of the track a little tougher down at 3-4 compared to today, because it was just so hard to pick the right line and no one wanted to sort of make a wrong move. So I prefer this start time. I thought we had a pretty good crowd. Unless we put some lights on, it'd be pretty sick, but yeah, be awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Let's go Nate and then Tony.
The other drivers were in here yesterday saying cars were disappearing and then reappearing. So you weren't the only person who had trouble with seeing it.
Yeah.
Scott, before this weekend, Penske was unbeaten on ovals this year. And then yesterday, obviously, was a bit of a struggle, and this was a hard fought win for you today. Everybody said you guys were lights out, though, at the test here. Did the field catch up, do you think, a little bit to Penske? Or?
I think the test maybe threw us for a loop a little bit. The tire was a little bit different. The pace of the cars were a little bit different. So when the pace slowed down yesterday in the race, like we just weren't good when it was slow. When it was high speed, the car was quite good. And you know, when it was creating natural downforce. But when it started slowing down, that's when we really struggled, which we fixed today with a couple of things. So I think we just missed the mark yesterday. I mean, I think our qualifying was really good. I thought we hit some really good lap times. And like that, I led the first 30 laps or whatever it was, and I felt pretty good until I caught traffic and I just couldn't do anything. So today was a big change up for that as well.
And just kind of follow up on that. You said you were beating yourself up yesterday. Was it mistakes you were making behind the wheel too, or is it just the car wasn't
Yeah, I
there?
just made, it's my first flat track, I guess, and just I was pretty peeved. Honestly, I'm gonna sleep like a baby tonight because I only slept like 4 hours last night. I was up till probably 3 a.m. Just I couldn't sleep. I was like rolling over. It was crazy. It's funny how I think it's a lot to do with a double header. And your adrenaline's just going. But I genuinely just was pissed off with the way that it went and my performance, a little bit of the team's performance, and then the car performance, and it was just trying to think of like ways to make it better. And I mean, that's passion. I think my engineer was the same. He was 4.5 hours. Like, it's just the same. It's a passion to be better. And but yeah, I'm gonna sleep like a baby tonight, and I need to catch up on as much as I can because a month time we're gonna have a baby, so it's gonna be full on.
Tony.
That's a tough one to follow. Scotty, when you talk about like how much confidence you're feeling better today, how much better did you feel in traffic compared to when you hit the lap cars yesterday?
Oh my God, like 10 out of 10, 100% better. It was night and day. I could pick where I wanted. It took me a little bit of time to get comfortable and confident, but ultimately, man, it was just lights out for me today and traffic. And I think some couple of my moves on the restarts was just showing my confidence and stuff and what I had underneath me, where yesterday I was hanging on for dear life.
Did you feel the lap traffic was fair? Were there any incidents or moments during the race?
There's a couple. I mean, they race you hard when you're leading because they want to stay on the lead lap, and you expect it. But no, I thought it was fair. Honestly, I had a blast racing Colton for the lead. Like, that was awesome. Like, we were banging and side by side, but it was like legit. Like, it was just, that's how it should be. Like, I knew he was there. I slid up a little bit. He pinched me. We hit. It was like proper. It was so cool. It was kind of like being in the supercar again. It's like, you're just banging doors. It was, and this place is nice because you haven't got much banking. So it's like a big road course. So, yeah, it was fun.
Tony.
A couple things here. I think it's your first win for Gallagher, and I know your guys had a late night. I think Marshall reported it took a long time to change that livery over there. First, speak on that. Secondly, I talked to your fueler and he said that last stop, it was like he wasn't even there. He plugged in perfectly. Mm-hmm. Talk about your stops today. And then, of course, your spotters from here in Wisconsin as well. So a big homecoming for him.
Yeah. I mean, 33s, they were ripping today. Unreal, like really fast in the pit stops. And I said on TV, but the 21 car was super helpful. They were the box behind us, and it was really good sportsmanship, to be honest. Like, just allowing me to have an open into my pit box and stuff under some pretty important pit stops. So they don't have to do that. They're a lap down car or trying to stay on the lead lap, and they're trying to help me. So, I mean, that's props to Team Chevy too for that camaraderie. But on Adam, like, yeah, it's awesome for him. He's been chasing this win in Wisconsin. I don't think he's even had one in Indy next. So it's super cool to have that for him. And I know he's going to be having a couple of spotted cows tonight. That's for sure.
New sponsor perhaps for 2025. Just
yeah. Oh yeah. And on Gallagher, I mean, like 9 hours to change the stickers. Pretty incredible job. And the car looked pristine this morning. But like the effort is just unmatched. Like, it's just really cool to see. Like, they just want to do it. But yeah, this is an important race for Gallagher too. They're only an hour or so down the road, or however long Chicago is down the road. So that's their home base, and yeah, pretty cool.
Scott, was the racing what you expected this weekend or more?
It's hard to tell because the tire changed from the test day. The test day was quite hard, difficult to pass and whatnot. No deg, and this weekend was really good. So I probably would say it was better than we all thought. And the track was wide enough. Yeah.
We had 667 on-track passes yesterday. It was up to 763 today. Damn. So a lot of action throughout. We're not going to have time to get to everybody on Zoom, but I do want to hit David Turner, the hometown folks down under.
No, guys, this is Kiwis, all right? This is Kiwis looking after Kiwis.
Keep it short though, David. We don't need us to locally today.
I got to make a flight, bro. So let's go.
I'll keep it short.
Yeah, no.
First of all, another Kiwi 1-2. So we're lining up for that Kiwi clean sweep of the podium. So that's one thing that's coming, keeping it short. Just quickly, Scott, I know you've kind of touched on it, but the drivability of the track over the 2 days, the differences in the rubber, the temperature, everything, did that factor into today's race, or was it just another game on?
It was interesting. Like, I thought the bottom lane today was a little bit harder than it was yesterday. I think the heat and it being a darker sort of tinge of asphalt. It was probably a little bit hotter today just to make those moves, but yeah, I mean, like the track was really fun to drive and slick in places, but once you sort of got your head around it, it was really, really cool. And yeah, it was super fun, man. Super fun.
And then just quickly, because I know you've got to go, but the flat track that you've had this weekend and then back up onto a more elevated banked track in, just over 2 weeks' time. Differences for you as a driver? Do what's the first thing that goes through your mind?
Well, I haven't stepped foot in that joint yet, so it's a whole new place for me. I've seen some footage and whatnot, and obviously watched NASCAR racing there and some old INDYCAR footage. But yeah, it's going to be interesting how that races as well. I'm hoping that we come with a similar tire to what we've done this weekend, and we can have some really good racing like we have. But I'm sort of expecting a little bit of action, man. I just people are crazy right now. Like there's a lot of people out there that don't give an F. So I'm excited to see how we go.
Well, a win on an oval certainly makes you an IndyCar driver now. There's no doubt about that. But you've been one of those for a while. Really looking forward to catching up with you in Nashville. So we'll see you in about a week and a half's time.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it, man.
Okay.
Anyone else in person? And you're excited, aren't you, Jenna, about this opportunity? We got a couple of things for congratulations.
Need to bring some Whitakers, David. All right.
Yeah, what do you want? Peanut slabs.
All right,
I got to get through TSA, brother.
Couple more things. Thanks, everyone. Scott McLaughlin, the champion here.